You got something on air then.
Oh, snap. Roxy's going to tell us something on air.
I'm going to tell you something on air.
Now, let us in the chat. Let us know if I fucked something up. Because you all weren't around for Titans.
Yeah, that's what happened.
And I did fuck something up. And you weren't there to tell me. So, in a way, it's your fault.
I agree with that completely and
wholeheartedly. Also, even though you can't see him, Sam is here in spirit and also in voice.
Wait, where? Where is he?
I hate what you just did.
I'm a fan of it.
Well, you can't see what you don't know what's happening on this end.
I think I might flick him if he was sitting in the room with us.
Yeah, but he's not, so he's able to get away with it. That's an empty threat. That's an empty threat.
I have another empty threat.
I don't like empty threats or any kind of threats. Not on this show.
Wait. I'm already fucking up. Hold on. 3, 2. There we go. Cool.
What happened?
That was just for the video people, but now it's going to be a pain. See, here's how the sausage gets made. That's going to be a pain in the ass for me later when I need to make a trim so that the video and the audio line up, because I don't like giving Sam time codes for the video and then time codes for the audio because I don't want to come up with an extra set of time codes.
I also don't like Sam's burping.
Which now the audio listeners have no idea what you're talking about, unless, Sam, you have an example for them.
No.
Oh.
Sam, what did I say? What did I say, Sam?
You mean I sorry. Oh, somebody was honking behind my car just now because I wanted to take my spot. Nice try, buddy. Go ahead and get on moving.
You know what? Here's what I say to that.
Huh.
Yeah.
I can guess this. She crumpled up paper, or she was eating something and she crumpled up the wrap.
Do you know me at all? I've been doing it every single week before the show for the last 4 weeks since October.
Yeah, gum.
No.
Gum.
Is it gum?
No, come on. You got this.
Interesting. Gang in the chat, let me know what it is.
Because he can read the chat. So wait, Roxy, you were going to
I can. Well,
you can watch it.
Yeah.
You could be watching us right now, but you're just choosing not to.
Don't tell them, people. Don't tell them. Whose side are you on? Sam cheats.
So, Roxy, you were going to tell us something on air.
Here's what I was going to tell you on air. And
yes.
This is not as much an F you to you, DJ.
Oh, no.
But if you take it that way, fine. This is an F you to you, Sam. Guess who was a gamer this week?
I saw your post.
I did not. Was it Roxy?
The name is Roxy, and I'm a super gamer. I was in Portland for 2 days, and I was tabletop gaming.
Oh, snap.
Oh, yeah.
That's good for you because it doesn't involve any hand-eye coordination on your part. So that's helpful.
I will say I lost a lot.
Okay.
But I also won sometimes.
There you go.
Especially at the games that didn't require you to see anything.
Nice.
Remember that bomb game? Remember the bomb game?
What was the bomb
defusing the bomb game? I think we played it with Mike.
Oh, yeah. I was good at that.
I think that was my favorite game that we played.
You know what I was really good at?
Yeah.
Jenga.
Jenga's pretty good. Jenga's pretty solid.
You were very good at Jenga.
Thank you. I'm a great gamer. The answer is Skittles. Why don't you love me?
Oh, yeah, like candy.
Why don't you?
Happy Halloween. Let's hop into it.
Yeah, let's start off with some news. First off, Sam reminded me in our little doc that Titans has been renewed for a 3rd season.
Yeah.
What do you think about that, Roxy?
I'm excited about it because I really like season 2.
Yeah, agreed.
So that's great for anybody who watches the show who didn't know that I like season 2, because I guess I haven't said that here yet.
Yeah, probably not.
Yeah, I'm really enjoying season 2.
Agreed.
Which is cool because I thought I had Stockholm syndrome after season 1.
Yeah.
Because apparently TV shows do that to me.
Yeah.
Thank you, Gotham, and all the other shows. But I think that they deserve another season to keep telling the story that they're trying to tell. And I was actually talking to Alan Ritchson today, who plays totally humble brag on Collider Live. He plays Hawk, and I was like, "Have they talked to you at all about season 3?" And he was like, "Yeah, definitely." You know, when they first approached us, we didn't know how involved we would be, but I guess Jeff Johns called him personally to talk to him about how different it would be from the CW shows and whatnot.
Yeah, because he was Aquaman for a long time on Smallville.
Exactly, and so he said he's really excited to keep the character going, which will be cool. I am loving our new characters. I'm loving minimizing our older characters that I didn't love as much. Raven. And season 3, they definitely earned it.
Yeah, I'm very interested to see where they go. Sam, what are you thinking about for season 3?
You know, season 2's better. It got a little wonky, but we can do a review for the new episode soon, which I thumbs up from Sam. I liked it. It's if it just keeps doing this upward trajectory, it's going to become quite a show. Season 1 wasn't my favorite, but season 2's been pretty solid. So I don't know who I want them to add, like character-wise, for heroes or villains. I mean, there's other people they can talk about.
I mean, I think they should tackle different villains. I don't think they need to add a single new protagonist. They've got a full boat.
I agree.
What if they said Tim Drake, though?
Where? Is he a baby? Because
Yes.
Jason Todd is like crazy young in this version.
Yeah, he is.
And
which I like, actually.
And
though.
Nightwing's like a grown adult man, and then Bruce Wayne is an old person.
Is Nightwing a grown adult man?
He's 30. He's probably about my age.
I know, but he looks like a child.
That is true.
He looks very young.
That is true.
Super young. All the young.
I'm glad I'll just say this. I'm glad for a third season because it doesn't look like we're going to get Nightwing till literally the very last episode of this season, and I'm going to want more of that. Thank you.
Yeah, I just think that the problem for me is it's never going to be Doom Patrol for me. They're completely different tones. And Doom Patrol is my DC Universe show.
Yes.
So I this year had to very actively be like, this is not Doom Patrol.
Yeah.
This is Titans.
Yeah.
Drop that. Mm-hmm. Because it's like when with our CW shows when I'm like, but I love Legends. And it's like, but these are not Legends.
Yeah.
So let that go.
Yeah.
This isn't my favorite tone for a show to be.
Yeah.
But I think it does such a great job in its box that it's in.
Yeah.
But it is kind of hard to divorce the two because this was sold as a spin-off of Titans, or Doom Patrol was a spin-off of Titans.
Yeah.
So they feel connected, but Doom Patrol's basically off in its own little, it's in the corner, like playing, I don't know, eating glue or something. It's not really playing the same game as Titans. I don't know. I get what you're saying, though. You do actively have to try to ignore the fact that the same studio made a very, very, very good show, and Titans is sometimes just okay.
Are you in the corner eating glue somewhere?
Is that where you are right now?
Well, I am not able to NDAs. I can't disclose that.
I will say this because I've been thinking about this.
I cannot say if I am or am not eating glue.
Again, I can neither confirm nor deny whether I'm eating glue or not. NDAs specifically about glue eating. Mm-hmm. But I will say this. I think we've got a lot of DC shows right now, not as many Marvel shows because they're shaking stuff up. Although I think it's worth mentioning, I wish I had the assets ready to go. Their Disney Plus launched a little teaser of their Marvel shows coming up, and there was concept art for Falcon and Winter Soldier and U.S. Agent, and all three costumes look rad, look really cool.
Did you watch the whole thing? It's called Expanding the Universe.
I did not watch it.
Seen the whole thing.
I just saw the picture circulating online, and I thought it was really cool that Falcon has his red duds.
I watched the whole thing, and they also have for Hawkeye, he's going to get Pizza Dog.
Yes.
They have Scarlet Witch images. They've got it for Loki, which is cool, and they had a teaser image for the three other shows: Moon Knight, Miss Marvel, and She-Hulk.
Very cool. And also, for those that are wondering, Inhumans is on the Disney Plus app if you would like to stream.
I was wondering
the entirety of that show. But what I was going to say is...
You about it so often that I was wondering how I could watch.
So
one of those things is true.
As there's a little lull in the Marvel shows, we've got a lot of DC shows, and I would rank them Watchmen A+ top tier, then Titans, and then our CW shows.
Yes.
Yeah.
I agree with that. And I would say I agree with that all of the weeks.
Yeah.
Every week.
Even for me, this week of Titans was a little bit weaker, but it was still better than CW shows.
I try to set myself up for success by now I watch Supergirl first.
Yeah.
And then nothing else will be as bad.
Well, we're getting a little ahead of ourselves. We're getting a little ahead of ourselves. Danny M says Jason and Tim are 6 years apart, so they would need a time jump, or they could change it. I don't know if they need to keep that timeline, which I think James Argenta said the same thing. Glenn Caesar says Roxy, Alan Richardson was really great. Crazy to hear about that stuff that happened while filming TMNT.
Yeah, go check out that interview if you're a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle.
Yeah, so give that a look. As far as other news, we've got some casting for Batwoman.
This is interesting.
Alfred Pennyworth's daughter has been cast. The actress is Christina Wolf, and the character is Julia Pennyworth.
What do I know her from?
You know who she reminds me of? And
From
it's not
Runaways?
No, she looks like Foggy's girlfriend in the Daredevil show.
Oh.
That's who she reminds me of.
Let's see.
I will say there's...
What is the actress's name again?
Her is Christina Wolf with an E, like our friend Clark Wolf. And then there was an article from the Mary Sue that was very not happy with this casting because I guess while traditionally she's a white character in Rebirth or New 52, she's mixed. And so the fact that this actress is not mixed was apparently rage-inducing for this one writer.
Oh, wow.
She was very not happy about it.
Let's see. She was in... No.
No.
I know her from nothing. She has 17 credits on IMDb, and none of them are things that I've seen, but maybe something that people at home have seen. She was in 17 episodes of The Royals. The Royals was that show that was on E, I believe.
So she definitely is going to be British. Now, I have a question for you guys about this. What over-under odds about Julia Pennyworth making out with Kate Kane? Because apparently they're supposed to have a troubled history or something.
Well,
ooh, my money would be on, and they call it Penny too. She was like a big part of the Rebirth Batwoman run that is dead. But I'd give it money on Luke Fox because he's got nothing going on right now on the show.
But we already know who Luke is going to make out with.
He's going to make out with Kate's
Mary,
stepsister.
Mary.
Come on, Sam.
Where are you getting that from?
When they hung out,
left.
Wait, where are you? When they hung out and ate pizza together. Where are you coming from?
Hold on.
I skipped last week's episode.
Oh, well, then you missed the whole...
Okay, well, then you have no idea what we're talking about. But hashtag Mary had a little fox.
Okay.
Do you get what I just did?
Is that their ship name?
No,
Because there's a lot going on there.
Well, I think it's longer than a line, but fine, take out the hashtag and just sing it with me now. Because, like, whoa, I did that. I'm the first... Do you think I'm the first person to think of that?
Yes.
Wow.
I believe that.
Wow.
I believe that.
Guys, in case you hear it anywhere else, which of course you're going to hear it everywhere else, remember where you heard it first.
Yeah. So Sam, just to catch you up,
DJ was like, no.
Last week, Mary was spiraling because Kate was hanging out with her murder sister instead of her. Whatever.
Yeah.
Point is, she went to go find her.
She doesn't know who Kate is.
Yeah.
Like, she doesn't know what's happening, and so she just thinks that Kate is picking this psychopath over her.
So she went to go find Kate and went to Wayne Tower where she met up with Luke and just wouldn't leave. And so they hung out, and it was a whole, like, oh, will they, won't they, da-da-da sort of situation.
She was also very intoxicated.
Incredibly intoxicated. And they had pizza together, so you know they're going to make out.
But I back to your question, DJ,
yes.
on if I think that she will make out with Kate.
Yeah.
I think that, again... CW is going to try to throw things to see what sticks right now because right now Kate's relationships are very strange and we haven't found somebody that I'm like, that's endgame for her. It kind of reminds me a little bit of the fact that they didn't know what the hell they wanted to do with Oliver, and then Oliver and Felicity just had chemistry, and it was like, oh, so he's not going to be a Black Canary because that's not working, so we're just going to do something else. I think the show went in strongly, like, we are going to have these two people be endgame, her and the person she went to cadet school with. Or whatever. What's that woman's name?
Sure,
yeah. And then they were like, huh, it's just not really vibing. And she's married to a guy that doesn't suck totally. So, like, why are we doing this? Let's try other people.
I actually think that... What? Sam?
Quick question. Do you think that Alfred is going to be alive in this universe? Do you think like he's off with Bruce Wayne?
That's a great question, in which we should probably get an answer when Julia shows up. The other one that occurred to me is I just now, I don't know why it took me so long, no Commissioner Gordon.
Mm-hmm.
What do you mean?
Which is weird. He's not in the show. He's not around. There's no mention of him.
They did mention him.
They mentioned the new commissioner.
And you heard that they mentioned Penguin,
who used to be mayor, and then they mentioned Joker specifically as Jack Napier, which felt like a not great decision, but whatever. The show's going to do, it's just going to do what it's going to do. So I don't know about Alfred, and I don't know about Commissioner Gordon. There's a lot of supporting Batman members that would be interesting to find out what they're up to and why they're not there right now.
I think it would be a really weird choice to make Alfred dead.
Yeah.
Because then they can't use him ever, and these shows tend to run a long time.
They got to use Barbara Gordon at some point. They got to.
Yeah, I would think so as well.
I think they're going to make out. I think, Roxy, I think I agree with you that I think it'd be really smart instead of going in immediately with like an end game in mind, just see what happens.
Yeah.
Because whenever I feel like whenever the show starts with like, oh hey, these two are supposed to be together, it never works out the way they want to.
Because here's the problem. Traditionally in television, you're not allowed to have them be together season 1 and stay together.
Yeah.
However, if we know that Barry and Iris are both going to be together, then there's no point in introducing somebody like a Patty.
Yeah.
Because then you're just dicking with our hearts.
Yeah, and Patty was better.
Yeah, and
Or at least they had better chemistry.
It was a better fit. It was they had better chemistry. Even though Candace Patton is awesome.
She's amazing.
It to me has never been.
Also, they never known what to do with Iris, which is not her fault.
No, not at all.
Danny M points out they have killed Fox Sr., which is true and a bummer.
But what about Mary Had a Little Fox?
Yeah, let us know in the chat about Mary Had a Little Fox.
Because I know they're going off on it right now. All the people are singing Mary Had a Little Fox right now.
They're too busy to say it in the chat. They're just singing it.
Thank you to Danny M. and Vanny and Boochtron and Mr. Theory and all of the people right now supporting me in the chat, all singing Mary Had a Little Fox. I didn't make any of that up, just to be clear.
Just so everybody knows.
So you all know.
Yeah, just in case you were wondering. So also we've got this art. It's official art created to promote Black Adam. It is done by Jim Lee, and my brain literally just fell out the back of my head. That
The Rock.
Boss Logic.
Yeah, Boss Logic, who does or back in the day did fan posters, but I guess does real posters now. Good for him.
I met him at this Comic-Con.
And at the bottom it gives.
I got a big brag really quick. The building I'm in is also the DC building, and I ran into Jim Lee in the elevator, and I acted super cool.
Yeah.
I'm happy to report.
Wait, you're sniffing glue in the DC building?
With Jim Lee?
With Jim Lee.
Wow. Interesting choice, my friend.
So this is a cool piece of art by very talented artists, and it also has a date at the bottom, 12/22/21. So that means 2 years until we get this Black Adam movie that we've been hearing about for. We might still get that Joe Manganiello Deathstroke movie at this point.
That's true.
That's how long we're holding out for stuff.
This is an interesting spot for this, though, because this is Christmas prime time. DC putting their stamp. They're saying, we are doing a movie in 2021. We are competing with the other Christmas franchise movies that will be in 2021. And it is going to be The Rock Black Adam movie. That is a lot of weight that they're putting behind this.
Aquaman worked out pretty well for him during the winter time last year, and that was with Spider-Verse too. I mean, there weren't that many. Spider-Verse kind of underperformed compared to other superhero franchises, but it still did well. But I mean,
totally.
So far,
I think it's smart.
Christmas time's a good time for DC.
Yeah, that's actually a good point, because I was with Roxy. That's that's a lot of pressure to put on specifically Black Adam, but it's like, well, yeah, I guess because it's still The Rock.
Well,
so I guess if Aquaman can blow up the box office, then I guess all bets are off at that point.
For sure, Black Adam is going to be more successful than Shazam because it's The Rock.
Yeah.
And that's kind of wild.
It's so weird.
And also, I think that DC was like, now wait for the correlation, because what? But with the Joker coming out towards the end of the year and all the success, I think they were like, okay, so people are interested in these villain movies.
That's a really good point.
People are interested in massive stars.
Yeah.
But okay, we hear you. Let's give it to you the way you guys want it. And I feel like an October Black Adam movie wouldn't have made as much sense. So they either were going to go with Thanksgiving kind of thing, or they were going to do Christmas time, and they're going for it.
Interesting. I'd say that's really interesting. And then, of course, you get the setup for, Shazam 3. They'll cross over and duke it out.
So will that be called Shazam 2? Or will...
I think what the plan is we've got Shazam 2, Black Adam, Shazam 3 is where they fight Black Adam.
That's so
There's
far.
a Shazam 2 prior to a Black Adam ever appearing?
I think so. Let's hold on. Let's see what we got.
Sam, do you know the answer to that?
No, they haven't said anything, but they set up Mr. Mind and Savannah. So that could be, the big threat that Black Adam and Shazam put aside their differences and fight together to solve. That could happen. You know what? Anything's possible. Right now, 2021's got 3 DC movies, which is pretty. They got the Batman, you got the Suicide Squad, and you're capping it off with Black Adam.
And they have to call it the Black Adam. What are they doing? Come on.
Yeah. Do you?
They're swinging for the fences.
What's more likely, that that Black Adam appears in Shazam 2, or that Shazam appears in Black Adam?
Sam is correct that there's no current date for Shazam 2. Although I figure you got to crank that out fairly quick, or else the kids are going to age out.
Yeah, but Aquaman, they're waiting 4 years.
That's insane.
Yeah. I don't think...
Oh, yeah.
I don't think we're going to... I don't know if we're going to see a Shazam 2 before we see a Black Adam.
Probably not.
What if it becomes the Black Adam franchise and Shazam just shows up?
That's what I'm thinking right now. I don't know. Maybe we will.
I've
Curious
also
what you
heard
guys
rumors.
think at home.
I've heard rumors that the JSA characters are supposed to show up in it, and I don't know. There's no weight behind those. I've just heard them.
Wow.
Interesting. But I want
Interesting.
Black
to
Adam
hop into
Christmas is the name.
Batwoman stuff. I want to talk about Batwoman.
Well, before we do Batwoman, Sam and I already did our Watchmen review, but we would like to know Roxy's thoughts on this week's The Watchmen.
Sam trying to run the show from afar, but he
Yes.
can't because he didn't know.
I can
Yes,
try.
you called. Yes,
And that was all the glue that he sniffed. Wow, starting rumors about Sam. So Watchmen,
Yes.
excellent.
The end. Now moving on to
No, I think that this show is awesome. I think a lot of it works because of Regina King.
Yes.
And that is not that the material isn't great and elevated itself,
No.
but I think without her, it might not find its footing as well. I thought that this episode was strange. I was really invested in what was happening with the buying and selling of the house.
Yeah.
And what was going on there. The tension was really high. I like anything where you can tell the stakes are high and we're on a time crunch, but you also have no effing idea why.
Yeah.
So cool. Interesting premise there.
What did you think about Fetus Lake? That left a big impression on Sam and I.
Why? You were freaked out?
I was a little unsettling, is the term I will use.
I guess.
I don't think anybody feels
many
settled.
times.
Yeah.
Nobody's into Fetus Lake, but sometimes you got to do
You
it.
just got to go in and sort out the weaklings from Fetus Lake.
They looked so creepy.
Yeah.
They looked so alien fetusy.
Yeah.
Also, the same time that I was watching it, I was looking on Instagram because I'm a millennial, so dual screens, whatever. And a friend of mine posted a picture of her baby in a teacup. And it looked like this, kind of.
I'm sorry for your friend.
I'm going to be candid. I'm a little bummed that you were on your phone while Watchmen was on.
I watch it twice.
Okay.
I always watch it twice.
Yeah.
And so I had...
Never mind. That's more of a time commitment.
Yeah, because with Watchmen right now, I'm doing coverage on it as well. So the first time I really pay attention, and the second time through, I'm just looking to see if I missed anything crazy. So I was
probably did. I know I did. By the way, I'd like to clarify because I was reading some reviews after. Sam and I said our theories, but now one of my theories has evolved.
What you got? What you
involving Lady True. I was reading a review on AV Club, which was written by somebody that runs on our circle. She's been on Screen Junkies and stuff.
Do you know who it is?
Not off the top of my head. Yeah. And she mentioned that usually in Eastern cultures, white is for mourning. And Lady True,
when they wear white,
and Lady True mentions her mom, that her mom never wanted her to leave Vietnam, and her daughter has.
She says on my mom's deathbed,
Yes, yeah, and the daughter has a memory that sounds very much like events from the Vietnam War, and Lady True does not strike me as old enough to have memories like that. So the theory Sam and I said is that maybe the daughter is a clone of Lady True. I'm wondering if it's a daughter of Lady True's mother. Because there's definitely some genetic manipulation going on, because she just, for her very first scene, she just manufactured a baby.
Yeah.
So
what do you guys think about the decision that was made in that of the parents?
I guess because I wouldn't have needed the whole baby thing. They're like, oh, you want to give me an insane amount of money for my house? Take it, man. I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But
it was interesting how they phrased it though about legacy. I thought that was a cool way to go about it.
Which I believe Sam pointed out in our review, that legacy's been a big theme throughout this entire season. So it's interesting to see it spelled out so specifically, and a big part of Watchmen in general, because you got the two generations of characters and stuff like that.
Big shout out to Joelle Monique. I got to do
There it is.
Nerdificent with her and a couple other shows. She's super talented and a really good writer.
She's the one
doing
that's
the AV Club.
Yeah, the AV Club reviews, and
Reviews.
I don't think I've met her specifically, but I know we've run in the same circles. So it was cool seeing her name on an AV Club article.
Yeah, she's
Yeah.
There you go.
No.
Totally. I thought that the episode was rad. I think that it was not. Still, for me, the second episode, which everybody else thinks is the weakest, is the strongest.
Mm-hmm.
But I hear from most people who have seen the first 6 that 5 and 6 are the 2 strongest of all 6. Not
snap.
that there are only 6, but
Yeah,
of the 6
there's
that have been
9,
released
yeah.
to the critics. So
That's
I'm excited.
crazy. I can't imagine better than these because this has been so cool. Also, I don't know about you, Roxy, big stand for Sam and I was I think Sam in the title called it Slippery Eel Boy. We called him Silver Surfer.
Who are you talking about?
The guy in the silver bodysuit that squirted the junk on himself and then slid down the slippery.
That was so wild to
The
watch.
best.
Slippery
I-
while wet.
But I also kind of love him.
Yes, 100%.
He just went for it.
Mm-hmm.
You got to do what you got to do. And
Hey man, he's got a job, I think.
I was kind of surprised she didn't at least bend down,
Yeah.
it style, see like what's in there.
Yeah.
What?
Reach in there, reach around, see if you can feel him.
Yeah, like what?
Yeah.
If I saw somebody do that, my first thing is I'm not gonna go down there,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm definitely putting my face next to that hole.
That seems fairly
She
dangerous.
and he said.
I wouldn't necessarily recommend that, but
No, I'm not saying it's smart. I'm saying it's what I would do.
I just want to see. So, what would you rate the episode?
Probably an 8. Solid 8.
Gotcha.
I think that it wasn't my favorite, and so it's not in the 9 category, but there was nothing about it that like was weird, was bad.
Yeah.
There was tons that was weird. I thought that the new locations we got were cool too.
Yeah.
I liked her
I will say, I think that's one of my favorite.
greenhouse.
One of my biggest selling points on the show is how unflinchingly weird it gets.
Yeah.
Like I genuinely appreciate that.
Yeah, I agree with that. Also, a question for you though, DJ, because I know that you had thought that possibly what was going on with Vite, sorry,
Yes,
he had put
we all
himself-
learned. We all learned.
He had put himself there.
Yes.
And now I feel like based off of this week's episode when he was like, I've been here for 3 years or 4, whatever he
However,
says.
4 years, I think.
It didn't sound to me like he was doing this to himself.
Now that we have the Lady True information, I 100% think it's Lady True.
Yeah, okay.
Because obviously he's got the fetus like
And
and
the
everything, and
statue.
she's doing the genetic stuff. And so then the question becomes, to what end, and is she alone? Because in keeping him there, because obviously she knew the space rock or whatever, the thing from space that fell on the farm, she knew it was coming. And the only character we've known that is able to predict the future is Dr. Manhattan. So maybe there's a connection there.
I'm kind of surprised we're on episode 4 and this is what we've gotten of Dr. Manhattan so far.
Yeah. I'm glad. I wouldn't mind if you held off to him to like the second to last episode.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just to see. And Sam floated
you just
the
want
idea.
a little more dildo.
Exactly,
in there.
100%. Sam floated the idea that perhaps we might run into Dr. Manhattan's, maybe he had a kid, maybe he created an offspring or
How does
had
that
an
work?
offspring. Well, with Dr. Manhattan, it could work any number of ways. He could have genuinely impregnated somebody. We don't know. But also
Do you think he could?
at the end of Watchmen, he says he's going to go off and create life.
He had a lot of unprotected sex in that comic book and in that
He sure
movie.
did.
So
He
it,
sure
it,
But I
did.
just am not
anything's
sure.
possible.
I'm not sure he's capable of. I'm not sure he's not though.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's the big question. It's like we were talking about the other episode where everybody's like, no, he can't mimic a human. It's like, time out. How do you know that?
Yeah,
like,
that I never understood.
Based on what, you know? So
Yeah. You know what I really
if
liked?
he did all that work, to reconstruct his hoo-ha and whatnot after he exploded, like why not make it work?
it does
you
tell
know?
you a lot
need
about
it.
Dr. Manhattan that he prioritized, like, well, no, I need that. Hold on.
Yeah.
What if he came back and made it just like a tiny bit bigger? Like nothing crazy. Just a little
You know what they
bit.
should do is it was the creators of Power Girl. It was a game that every time they drew her, they made her boobs a little bit bigger just to see if anybody would notice. It would be hilarious in the shows. Every time he shows up, his dong is just a little bit bigger, and you're like, wait,
So
what the
good.
fuck is happening?
So good. You know who I thought was
Jesus
excellent?
Christ, he's tripping on it.
In this episode, I thought Yahya Abdul-Mateen II was excellent.
Yes.
I thought that was learning more about his and Angela's relationship, what she tells him,
Yeah.
what she doesn't tell him. Just that one, like, and you don't like to lie
Yeah.
moment. Like, nobody likes to lie, but the way that this show, or some people do, I guess, but the way this show feeds us information, and you just know how important it is when she says that, like, that's going to come up again.
100%. Also, don't let him give pep talks to kids or life lessons about death, because it's like we were talking about this. Yeah, it's like
gone.
you can't even muster the like, hey, their matter goes into the universe and becomes new. That you can't even offer that up.
But
that's science.
You want to know what though? I thought it was interesting. The show chose to do that because they have presented him in such a matter-of-fact light, but they've also not made him a bad guy.
Yeah.
Which is cool because a lot of times when people say things like that, they're the villain or they're the bad guy.
Yeah.
And he's just, a lot of shit has happened to this planet. You are my children, so I'm going to raise you how I want. When you die, you're gone. Which, like, I don't agree with that necessarily.
Someone who's a literal god walking around who can manipulate time and make people explode with a thought. And I mean, it would really kind of fuck up most of your like religious thoughts of a being like that actually existed, right?
Yeah, definitely. I just didn't mind that. I didn't mind that he said that, honestly.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's the best way to parent, but...
Yeah, I just wouldn't let him have that talk with my kids, is all I'm saying.
Yeah, but I honestly didn't mind it here because it was kind of like, that's the world that we're living in, and this is the dude that we're dealing with.
Yeah.
So it made sense for the character they've presented so far.
Yeah, 100%.
So, 8.
8. Well, so that's Watchmen. So now let's go to our CW shows. We'll start off with Batwoman.
Good, cool. I like this one. So I'm excited
wait. So we've got a thing. Hold on. I'm going to read the thing. Season 1, episode 6. I'll be judge, I'll be jury. A disturbing death has Gotham reeling, and the city reaches out for their new vigilante hero. Luke confides in Kate, while Sophie asks Jacob for a special assignment. Alice continues her nefarious plot against the Canes, with Catherine being a conduit to part of her plan. Batwoman pays another visit to Mary. That's it. That's the show.
Sam, are you watching this right now?
Yeah, I just skipped last week's because it was a bit busy. Like, I started Supergirls last week, but then I gave up on that. I did watch it this week. I'm all caught up with all the shows this week. I dug it. Roxy, you're a big fan of Gotham. Is the character on this episode in any way related to when Michael Chiklis was on Gotham? Because, like, he's dressed as an executioner. He was an executioner. The character names aren't the same, but his first, like, death is electricity based, and wasn't Michael Chiklis' character on Gotham the Electrocutioner?
Yeah,
Am I like totally off with this?
No, you're not off. I was thinking about that when we were watching. His character changed so many times on the show as
Michael Chiklis' character?
Like, as more things were happening to him, he got more abilities and like was really good and then super evil.
Wait,
and then
he had abilities?
Evil. After a while, he like because he came, he like died and came back, kind of thing, but not really. He never actually died. The Gotham people in here, help me out. He just like he was poisoned with something, and then he had the ability to do some weird thing with his eyes, maybe. But you're not wrong, Sam. It was reminding me of him in a little bit, which is not a bad thing because I actually thought that this episode was pretty cool. I think that I preferred last week, the episode that you guys both loved oh so much. But I think that this one was interesting too. And a lot of that is because Alice is super fascinating to watch.
Yeah, it's interesting. I thought last week's bit with Alice was a lot. It was a lot to ask for the audience. But the actress has grown on me and her performance has grown on me.
I like what's happening with her and Mouse.
They're definitely setting up so Mouse becomes the big bad of the season, right?
Yeah.
So they can give Alice an out.
And I like this jealousy thing and us not knowing exactly what Alice at the end of the day is going to do when it comes to her sister and her family. Also liked what was happening with Mary and the early on reveal that girl whose name we just can't remember knows
Sophie.
Yeah, Sophie's choice.
So when Sophie just is like, thanks, Kate. It was like, there we go.
Yeah.
And now there's that.
Why did you feel about that? Because I didn't care.
I like that.
Okay.
That made sense to me. Sam, what were you going to say? You think what?
It just blanked. Oh, why can Mouse change his voice? Do we know that?
Because.
Wait, Roxy sounded more certain.
Well, did you watch last week's episode of this one or no?
No.
Okay, so you missed the best episode of the show so far.
That's not
according
true.
to Roxy. But it was a total background episode. So actually, there's a lot of information in there, and it's great. That's what he's been able to do since he was a kid. He can mimic people, all different people. Like it's not a super. It's his. He just has ability to do that. And his face is deformed as well. And so part of the reason why Alice gets kidnapped by them, or Beth at the time, is because he needs a friend. And when the dad and Kate go to look for Alice, Mouse imitates Alice's voice. And
so basically, because Kate got a phone call from Alice, and so when they go, they're like, "I'm sorry, my son was just fooling around." And then the son says very specific things that only Beth would know, and they're like, "Well, it must not be her." And then they leave.
Yeah. So we've known that since he was a kid, he was able to do that.
And we found out the reason Alice hates Kate is because Kate's magic twin power to sense that she was in danger didn't work, and so therefore, fuck her, and she needs to kill her.
All right, wait, I got to go to this chat for a second because, first of all, thank you, Danny. Love Gotham forever. Appreciate you. Then also, John says, also, Gotham had both an executioner and an electrocutioner. I'm trying to remember what that was about.
Oh, and I thought you're such a fan of the show. You can't even remember. And then Vanny has your back as well. It was also my favorite of the season so far. DJ does not agree, though. I do not.
I think it was really good.
Yeah. So anyway, so that's Mouse's deal. And so they grew up together, which is why they're so close and everything. And the dad... yes.
Boostron in the chat says, does anyone else remember when Kate's dad called the executioner a social justice warrior, like an SJW? I don't think those are the same thing where he's going around and murdering criminals. I think it's slightly different.
I think what?
Go ahead.
Yeah, I think social justice warrior doesn't necessarily in that Venn diagram include people running around murdering corrupt judges and stuff. I will say, I think that was my favorite bit of the episode because it did complicate things. This was a guy that we needed to stop.
Was your favorite?
The executioner in his bit and what it meant, specifically tying what he represented to Luke. When first they were like, "Oh, the guy that killed my dad," I'm like, "Son of a bitch! All of you should leave Gotham." Like, Bruce's parents were going down the street, and your dad, who worked for Bruce Wayne, went out for cake and got shot too. Get the fuck out of this city, man. So when they first introduced it, I rolled my eyes, but the way it connected to what motivated the executioner and what that meant for somebody like Luke and people that had been put away from it presented a much more difficult moral quandary than our shows are able to muster a lot. And I found that really interesting. And it took what seemed like just a throwaway villain and made him and what he represented to our group incredibly more engaging.
Yeah, I agree with that. And DJ, I also think just listening to you describe that makes me think about the fact that I've heard you describe shows like that before. And this episode was more similar to our other shows than previous episodes have been, and that's why it sounds familiar. And I think that they've been trying to make themselves so stand out.
Yeah.
Like, oh, we are not doing what the other CWDC shows have been doing with adding, villain of the week, also having the big bad, having a little bit more of an emotional stake there, all of that. We haven't been seeing that formula as much on this show. And this week was like, actually, we're just going to make the best episode we can. And if it's similar to earlier seasons of Arrow and Flash, then it is.
Yeah.
Which I think that this probably was, which is probably why you liked it more.
Yeah, I just think it worked, and I thought what the executioner brought out of the team, and then Daddy Kane had to confront the fact that honestly, I'm gonna be candid, guys. I think Alice is being way too hard on them, and I think they all need to let themselves off the hook a little bit.
She was literally tortured and destroyed as a child because they were morons. They were morons. They came to the house. And I think the only one that should really be kicking herself is the mom who faked the stepmom who faked the deer DNA situation. Yeah, you messed up. Yeah, she did mess up.
Deer bones.
You don't think the dad should feel she should make the dad feel awful.
He went.
And he went there.
Yeah, and
a little boy said, "I played the xylophone," or whatever the fuck that was.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Yeah, okay, satisfied enough. Search the damn house.
Yeah.
Search it."
This is a good show. This is a good show.
Thank you. I agree, sir. I agree.
I really like this episode too because I thought they actually posed real questions and real consequences, like DJ mentioned. And it by the end of it, everyone kind of loses and everyone kind of wins a little bit. Like it actually like was slightly more complicated than other CW episodes have tried to be, but it does kind of go back to like Roxy, like you said, it goes back to the formula. Hey, it's tried and true, and it's worked for 8. How many of these shows do we have? 7, 6,
Yeah,
6 of them.
a bunch.
There's
and more to come.
There's more. Yeah, there's more coming. If it works, if it fits, I sits. That's what I always say.
If it fits, I sit. Wow.
By the way, Dobby Gregg in the Discord says Mary needs a better sister. First thing she does when Sophie finds out is expose Mary's secret clinic that helps poor people in Gotham. And I like the Executioner's reasons. It's a good a reason as any to be a supervillain. I totally fell for Mouse's trap with Alice, but the way she's acting has me thinking her and Kate are going to team up against Mouse. It sucks that Lucius is dead. Her poor old man.
Which by the way, they should 100% throw Alice in a garbage disposal. She's murdered so many people. But it's my sister. She's murdered so many people.
Let me throw this out there. Do you guys think Lucius is for sure dead, though?
I mean, unless they come up with a good reason to not have him be.
And then he's just not, right?
Because otherwise they would have created a cooler, more mysterious reason for him to be dead.
Yeah.
Maybe he's off on that island with Alfred and Batman and Batwoman and Nightwing and Robin and Tim Drake, and they're all hanging out on that island, and they'll all be back very soon. It's a farm upstate. They'll be back. Don't worry. They'll be back.
Love a CW DC TV show like Outcasts.
Yeah.
Like they've all been put in a box somewhere. And
like,
what the fuck, man?
Yeah, come on.
Why
can't we be
island?
here? Because the movies won't let us use you.
Sitcom.
Yes.
What would you guys rate this episode?
I guess a 7.5.
That sounds super fair. I agree. Good score.
You know, when I think about the Executioner stuff, I want to say 8. And when I think about everything with Sophie and kind of Alice this episode and stuff like that, I'm like, yeah, 7.5 is good. 7.5 is on point. So there you go. The consensus has been met. I was going to try and make like a Survivor reference like we put, but I don't know anything.
The Executioner has been executed.
He was shot dead.
Yeah,
we're not getting him again. We might get another person with the hood. I can almost guarantee it. Season 3, there will be another person with that. But let's move on to Supergirl.
Oh, goody.
Everyone's favorite this season, no exceptions.
Yay.
Let's go to the synopsis.
Yay.
This is Supergirl season 5 episode 6, Confidence Women. While a new villain is under arrest at
It was called Confidence Women?
Apparently.
Bummer.
Yeah.
Keep going.
While a new villain is under arrest at the DEO, Supergirl Rip Roar. I got things to say about Rip Roar. Supergirl uses him to try and understand who's responsible for the recent attacks. Meanwhile, Andrea and Lena think back on their tumultuous past.
You know what this episode...
Okay.
Go ahead.
Quick question. Is there anything that really happens present day, or was it all the origin stuff? Oh wait, the end where they fake where Supergirl that happened. Never mind. Okay, I answered my question. Continue. Go on.
The reason you're asking that question though, Sam, is because what this episode lacked was Supergirl or anything about today at all. I get why we wanted to go into Lena and Andrea's backstory. It makes a little more sense why she ended up getting her company now and like what that weird tension was. It makes more sense. It explained the situation more. I just thought it was so dumb.
Yeah. So
I think Flash did this last week where they had just an extra dumb realization. It was when Cisco was like, wait, I must have sleptwalked and murdered my girlfriend. It's like, wait a second, you're wearing the super ancient amulet as just a trinket on your neck at this party?
I'm glad
you bitch.
Yeah, I'm glad we all picked up because I was like, am I going to be mean? Did I point out how stupid I think this is? I'm glad that we all locked into like, why are you wearing it to the gala? And I have a question about the nature of Leviathan because I thought secret spy organization, but now they're into like mystical shit
to use for their secret spying.
Yeah, but like that's not when she talks to the guy under the like that whole situation really confused me.
Yeah. I don't have answers for you. I don't. Leviathan has been like the weakest. We don't see, we don't touch in, and then when we do, we're supposed to be afraid and know exactly what they're doing, but it's been so unclear.
Yeah.
And I think it's because the Lena thing is muddying it so much with what she's doing right now.
Yeah.
As the middle bad, not the big bad, but the
also
ish bad.
Yeah.
Bad-ish.
While we're shitting on Leviathan, the finale of Event Leviathan in the comics was pretty weak too. Just throwing that out there.
That sucks. With the whole going back to Lena for a second.
Let's go back to
finding
Lena.
the amulet thing.
Yeah.
And when she gets down in the hole and it's missing, and there's somebody who has just been there,
and she's like, "What could have possibly happened?"
And she's like, "I'm gonna keep searching for it." And her friend, who's gone with her while her father is about to kill himself, and has gone on this journey and has been so gung ho this, and then she's like, you should probably stop looking now.
Yeah, don't you worry about it.
And Lena's like, "You're right. Okay." It's like, wait, what? And then when she sees her at the gala wearing the necklace, and she's like, "I knew it." I'm like, "You did? Because you didn't say jack shit."
Yeah.
If you knew it, why didn't you ask her even one time? Did you take it?
Because that would be
here's
mean.
a question. Because like Leviathan was down in that hole with them, right? That dude was right there.
That's what I'm saying.
Right?
Is now Leviathan suddenly like mystical power shit. So I don't know what their deal is.
Why didn't they take it? Why did this random woman need to do with this?
I don't know the answer for that. And why did they prefer the random woman get it to Lena?
Yeah. Also a good question. Also, why did we blow one of our John Cryer appearances on this episode?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Also, why did we blow the money to bring Raul Coley back for like what, a scene?
That was for me.
Okay, fair enough.
Hey,
fair enough.
Just let our friend get paid. Just let him
That's
get
true.
paid.
Good point. Just let him get paid. So
He is so hot. I can't.
Guys, can you help me out with Rip Roar in his bad RoboCop mask and what's going on with any of that? Because I've not been watching.
Sam?
Oh, well, so last week, from what I've gathered, not from watching the episode, is that he made a tidal wave, and also he has Doc Ock arms.
Yeah,
I saw that
true.
much of last week's episode. And
That's
he
what
was
Yell called him,
boy-
remember? Yeah, last
Yeah,
week.
that is. Yeah.
And then they got then that we found out he is not bad, but he was brainwashed to be bad. And now he's dead, so we don't have to deal with the questions
He was the
anymore.
best friend, and then there was like this whole thing.
Yeah.
I don't know because I seriously didn't care about this part. That was really tough for me because when you don't care, it's hard to listen.
Yes,
When
that
there's
is true.
so many other things that are going on.
I really liked when the hot guy was mean, and now he's just kind of like, I need to save people. I'm gonna kind of freak out a little bit. Now he's in the DEO hanging out with people. It's like no one's suspicious.
Do you mean the hot reporter?
Suspicious of this guy.
Do you mean?
I just watched a fun fact. I just watched a dog take a dump on the pavement, and the person walk away. So that was cool.
Yeah, that's really
they're coming
cool.
back. Okay, there we go.
Okay.
That is cool.
Do you mean the hot guy? Do you mean the reporter?
Hot reporter man?
Yes. Yes.
You mean
he makes
Kara's
listicles.
next boyfriend?
We've got this comment from the Discord from Dobby Greg Last. I quite enjoy this episode. Good for them. It made me care for Andrea for the first time, although I would have probably put the stinger reveal during the story or at the end. Medallion isn't her dream. She didn't believe it existed in the first place. It happened to be related to what she needed to deal with Lex. She wants it, but she also hasn't spent her last 10 years chasing it or anything. Her goal is more to be seen in a positive light. That's why she dumps money and time. That's what she dumps money, time, and effort.
Are we gonna now watch her dad kill himself?
Yeah, why not?
This is such a bizarre storyline for them to be doing.
100%.
Like she's just like delaying her father's suicide, just like
let him go.
Like,
that's what
slowly.
he wants.
Yeah, and then
just
also
give him what he wants.
Is Leviathan? Are they able to reveal that there's insider trading because there is, and they're going to bring that to light, or because they're going to make it up?
Oh, help me out with something. I'm so sorry, Roxy. I don't have an answer for you, so I'm just lighting over that. So because I haven't been watching the show, is it Jimmy's sister's Kelly?
Yeah.
Okay. She sees like a video or something, and then she like starts bawling her eyes out, and then Dreamer's like, "Oh, all you need is a friend." What happened?
I don't even know what you're
Oh,
talking about.
Wait, in this episode?
Yes, at the end of this episode.
Kelly saw a video?
At the end of this episode.
Yeah, so which was what was funny to me is you all described either last episode or the episode before where everybody's on VR and then a disaster happens.
Yeah.
And then this exact same thing happens this episode with the tidal wave and everything. The tidal forces are going to take out all the coastal cities and all that shit in the Arctic, and they have to like fly in a circle to do the thing.
Is that what happened at the end of this episode?
Did I watch the end of a different episode?
That was the end of last week, right?
Was that last week?
Go to the chat
that
right now.
that did not happen in this episode.
Oh, I might have because I had to go and come back. Well, whatever. That shows you how much I was paying attention to what was going on here.
And then when you came back, was Kelly sitting by herself at lunch?
Yeah. Oh, was that last episode? And that's how we set up Rip Roar?
Yeah.
Rip Roar's lame. That's all I have to say
You know
about
what?
that.
That's so amazing because what DJ said to me coming into this was like, so I was watching Supergirl.
Yeah.
I'll be honest. I watched a lot of it and then got a little bored and then came back later and watched the rest of it.
Yeah, I like skipped the middle act, and it made just as much sense to me as what was happening before. So I'm like, sure, whatever.
I get it. Wait, go to the people. What are the people saying?
I want to say that the shadow thing looked kind of cool, and that's hard for Supergirl to fight. Am I right, everybody?
Yes.
Easy. There's some sort of allegory for the darkness inside us. Arrow talked about that a lot, and now it's Supergirl's turn to talk about that, which is pretty cool.
DJ was watching
The
Adventures of
Lois.
Lois.
I was wondering. So what would we all rate this episode? And now that I've determined I watched less of it than I thought, I don't feel like I'm in a position to rate it.
I liked it enough. I'd give it a 7.5 as well. I liked it as much as Batwoman.
Wow. It's offensive to Batwoman. Yeah. This was a 6.
There you go. Boom. Shots fired.
Mostly because they're all being stupid. That's what happens on Supergirl. I don't like when you don't know what to do with your characters, so you decide to make even the smart ones stupid. Like that's not legitimate. Just a plot.
It's a staple. It's a staple of these CW shows.
No.
All right, going off to the next, the next best show in all of our shows, Black Lightning.
Yo, you want to know what, DJ?
What?
Well, actually, I'll let you read the synopsis.
Oh, yeah, I should read the synopsis. Thank you. Mm-hmm. We've got Season 3, Episode 6, The Book of Occupation, Chapter 5, Requiem for Tavon.
It's Season 3, Episode 6, Chapter 5?
Yes, Season 3, Episode 6, The Book of Occupation. That might be Chapter 1, maybe. Who knows?
Okay.
Requiem for Tavon. Jefferson struggles with the effects on his family, leading to a decision that has tragic consequences. Anissa's identity is threatened. Odell takes an important step toward winning over Jennifer.
This show was the best it's been all season. This was the best episode of it by far. I really enjoyed it. And I wonder if that's because, what was the name of that albino villain who is...
Tobias.
I wonder if that's because we got a lot more Tobias this week.
Ooh, cool.
And he was, even though he's the person getting stuff done to him, he was still so scary. I also like that we are focusing on the daughters and what they're doing with their powers right now, and bringing stuff to real life too, with what happened with Jefferson and getting the living crap kicked out of him. Sam, I thought that this episode was dope. How did you feel?
I fully agree. I think the stakes with Tavon were well earned, and it also made Khalil a genuine threat. I think he's a lot cooler now when they make him talk less and just let him be a cool action, like kick-ass ninja or whatever he is. And with his powers, he feels very much like a Terminator when he walks into the room, and I think he looks really cool. Anissa, I like that they're throwing a wrench in Anissa's plans. There's a lot of like balls in the air, like plot-wise, when it comes to what Odell wants done with the ASA and what the ASA is doing to the city and everything. And I actually really like how they're unfolding all this information, and it feels like compelling again, which I've missed that for like a whole year. And it feels like season 1 Black Lightning. I really dug it.
Can you talk to me about the thing I was a little confused about was what's happening with Jennifer and why she's so sick?
She got over. So she flew up into the atmosphere, sucked up all the power from the solar energy. Like basically, she just like sucked up like solar rays or like runoff from solar winds and everything. And she's basically overdosed kind of on that. So she's just overwhelmed by that feeling. So she's a little
Right, but
woozy from all that energy.
but
A little
it's coming out
woozy.
in such strange ways, like how she can't really hear her dad talk, and then she's freezing. Are we supposed to think that this is an ongoing issue, or that it's going to be a one and done?
I think the boy with the long hair sucked up all that power from her. You found out that he's a meta, which was a
But
good
I thought
reveal.
that was like for the moment, so that she didn't go outside and help her dad. You think that he sucked it up for permanent?
Maybe. And maybe he's like Rogue where he can kind of redirect it, which would be kind of cool as well.
Yeah, that is cool. I liked that we at least acknowledged, because we all knew he was going to be a meta of some sort. He's had his eye on her for a while, and when he was walking through the halls and stuff, I just could tell he was a meta based on, you remember when they did meta testing, and he's like, oh yeah, I already got my test. He goes to the back of the line, like all those things. Of course he's a meta, but I like that they revealed it to us early, so it's not like we don't think that you guys are smart enough at home to know. They know we know, so we're just going to tell you guys what it is,
Yeah.
which I thought was good.
Oh yeah, this I think the stakes in this episode, it makes sense because they had set up such a big threat with like there's a quarantine and we're getting a foreign army is attacking and and it's just this episode was like, oh okay, now I'm actually feeling the threat of what's happening, and because it felt weirdly abstract even though they were showing us everything. I just wasn't connecting with it, and I finally did with this episode.
Yeah, I agree. The occupation part of it all, it was scary to watch. And also, I think a part that we haven't touched upon yet, for the first time possibly ever, we utilized Grace really well. She actually,
That's good
She
to
was
hear.
super cool.
yeah, she has to, do you want me to not spoil it
No,
for you?
go for it.
She has to turn into an Essa for a little bit and pretend that there is no Blackbird, and or at least that it's not the same person,
Yeah.
and do this stuff that I thought was, unfortunately it's not that actress because she was not being her, but it was cool to see her be put to use in any kind of way.
So
She's
like
with
Grace is
Bambi.
cool when another actress plays.
It's kind of what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But the actress that plays Grace is great.
Yeah.
She just doesn't do shit
Yeah.
at all. And we only see her do things when she's somebody else.
You know what's something weird?
Eating a horse.
In the comics, she's super strong and jacked and a half Amazon, and that's her ability, is that she's super strong.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's
It's
not what's happening here.
Yeah, it's not at all what's happening here.
Definitely my favorite episode. Definitely my favorite episode this season. Possibly my favorite episode in the last 2 seasons of Black Lightning.
Agreed.
So
I agree.
Maybe
And
we're
we gotta-
back.
Now
We
I'm
gotta-
bummed that I watched half of Supergirl instead of this.
Well, to be fair, you watched 2 halves of Supergirl. Just
Two different. In my defense, when I went to the app, I watched it. When I went to the app, it was the latest episode. I went back to the latest episode, so I don't know what happened. But whatever.
yeah, it was cool. Oh, and then also the thing we didn't talk about, Sam. At the end, the police officer, who whatever his name is, head of police, chief of police, Jefferson's best friend.
Yeah.
What he's doing, what he's creating with that side group.
Oh yeah, they have a resistance front, and it's with all of my favorite characters. You got the pastor, and you got that one drug dealer that Jefferson always goes to.
When you-
Everyone,
Oh,
it's
cool.
all
I like him.
Yeah, I like him too. When
Yeah,
he was
no,
taking the
it's-
pastor, I was like, wait, what? For the sex trafficking?
Oh yeah, he goes around and like arrests all these people, and it makes it seem like he's working with the ASA, and there's a fun reveal of them like creating a counter movement or whatever. It was a super cool reveal.
Yeah, that one actually really surprised me. The show doesn't shock me much, but that one was crazy. And then also, like I was talking about earlier with Tobias, the bone marrow lack of anesthesia was a fun choice. What did you think about what he
Oh, yeah.
said to Lynn about how he's going to kill Black Lightning, but then he won't harm the girls? And him revealing that he knows who Black Lightning is.
It sounded like, because Bootstron in the
Yeah,
Discord
he said in the
wrote-
Discord, so Tobias knows Jefferson is Black Lightning, right?
For sure.
Yeah,
and the whole family.
and also it seems like Lynn's gonna kill Tobias. Like all that whole scene was super compelling, and he's a smart man. He's a compelling like villain who is capable. So it kind of was only a matter of time of Black Lightning constantly saving the Pierce children that probably that's someone related to them.
Let's not get Tobias over on Supergirl. Else he's going to start figuring things out way too quick.
That's
He's going to be
true.
like, wait, hold on.
Too fast for us. Rich John in the chat right now says Odell said he marched with MLK. Yeah, I was kind of confused about that one.
He was very young. He was a very young man at that point.
Yeah. Or do you think it's possible that this was him admitting that he's been doing a little bit of like what Tobias is doing?
Oh, what do you mean exactly?
Delaying his aging.
Yeah, somehow.
I mean, I'm not honestly. I'm not. Odell is still kind of on the fence for me with everything, so I'm not. I can't really figure out what he's planning and what his end goal is exactly with everything.
I guess I have zero idea how old he is.
Yeah, I was going to say Bill Duke's 76 years old. He could have been like in his like 20s.
He looks like 40 to me.
Oh yeah. No, he's 76. He's been around for a minute.
Wow.
Yeah.
He's an older gentleman, but honestly, like this gives me some faith. Just because of the shaky track record with the show, I don't really know if they can hold this up really or keep this going.
Isn't that a great feeling?
So far,
No.
It's really appealing what they've got going on right now.
Yeah, they finally have me interested.
So what would you all rate this episode?
Honestly, I'd give it like an 8 out of 10.
Me too. I
really
would
dug
give
it.
I would give it an 8 out of 10 also. I was so happy and kept waiting for the other foot to drop all episode and it didn't.
Yeah.
And I was like, whoa.
Oh, we got through it, everybody. We got through it. Another episode of Black Lightning. Please let us know in the comments what your ratings would be for Batwoman and Watchmen and Supergirl and Black Lightning. And I think next week all our shows should be coming back. So we'll be talking about Arrow and Flash as well.
Why do they do what they do?
Production schedules. I don't know. Oh, well, no, they did it this week because I think Arrow and Flash were supposed to fall around Veterans Day. So they pushed it for a week.
And the previous week?
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm not. They don't consult me when it comes to doing their schedule. I know. I wish they would.
He's 76?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Dude.
He was fighting the Predator back in, whenever that movie came out.
He
80s?
was.
When
He
was
was fighting the Predator.
when was I Have a Dream?
Oh, I don't know. We'll look it up. Let us know. Let us know in the chat. Roxy, where can the people find you?
Everywhere at Roxy Stryer.
You can find me at DJ Talks Trash. Sam?
At Sam Basher and at Only Stupid Answers.
Yank out the vowels from stupid. I'm sorry, Roxy. I should have let you go.
I was ready for it.
Yeah.
But instead I'll say Sniff Glue and Mary had a little Luke.
That's
Those
not.
are
Little
both
Fox.
No, that wasn't. No, it's too late.
Fox.
It's too late.
Mary
You
had
already.
a Luke Fox. Mary had a Luke
Nope.
little Luke Fox.
Nope. Is there anything else before we bounce?
I have to run. I got plenty of glue to huff and not enough time. Am I right, everybody? But thanks
Can
for
you all
having me
relate?
here.
You're welcome. Thanks for joining us, Sam. It was nice to have you guest on the show.
Yeah.
Hopefully we can have
Thank
you back
you.
on sometime.
So lovely having you the last two times.
Well, just you hit up my assistant and they'll hit up your assistant.
Oh.
There you go.
We'll figure
I'll
something
yeah,
out.
my people will call your people.
There it is. All
Thank you.
right. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye.